O Diyos aming Ama, ang lahat ng nilalang ay marapat na sumamba sa iyo. Higit sa iyong mga biyaya, sinasamba ka namin dahil ikaw ay ikaw. Lumalapit kami sa iyo, dakilang tagapaglikha, nagsusumamo at humihingi ng kapatawaran. Kami ay nagkulang at nagkasala. Patawarin mo kami sa katigasan ng aming mga puso. Turuan mo kami at dalhin sa inyong kalooban. Tingnan mo kami ng may awa at kahabagan. Hilumin mo po ang aming bayan, ang aming mga mahal sa buhay, kaibigan, kapitbahay, karatig bayan, ganon din ang aming mga kaaway sa pandemyang kinahaharap namin sa COVID-19. Isama niyo na rin ang mga may sakit sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Panginoon, balutin mo kami ng inyong kaluwalhatian. Itago mo kami sa lilim ng inyong mga pakpak laban sa anumang kapahamakan o wala sa oras na kamatayan. Kristo, ang tinapay ng buhay, alalahanin niyo po ang mga namumuno sa aming bansa, ang mga ilaw at haligi ng bawat tahanan, at mga kawani na nagtatanggol sa aming seguridad at mga frontliners. Batid mo, Panginoon, ang mga dinaraanan at bawat ganap sa aming buhay. Espiritong Banal, aming tanggulan at gabay, imulat ang aming mga mata at ipakita si Jesus ang Panginoon at tagapagligtas, ang nag-iisang katotohanan at tanging daan tungo sa Ama. Wala nang iba. Purihin ka, O aming Diyos. Ang presensya mo ay tunay na biyaya ng aming buhay. Ito ang aming samot panalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus, Kordero ng Diyos na nag-aalis ng kasalanan ng mundo. Amen.
Reaching out to Filipinos worldwide, the now of digital entertainment with studios in Manila, Bacolod, Hong Kong, and Los Angeles, California. This is V81 Radio Worldwide.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect those of the host, the show, this station, the management, and the network.
Hola mga amiga! Naka-mute pala ako, na-excite ako ng sobra. So, hello sa mga V81 radio followers and fans. Nako, hindi kayo nagkakamali. This is the AMIGA invasion for the Women's Month special ng V81 Radio. None other than VIVA AMIGA, a Women's Month special of showcasing Philippine sports leaders na syempre mga kababaihan. I am your host for tonight, Cara Mallonga, and I will be joined by my equally lovely and gorgeous co-host, my Miga, Rica Aquino. Miga, how are
Hi,
you?
Miga! Hello! Hello sa mga viewers ng V81. Exciting, no?
Baka
Kamusta,
akala naman
Miga?
sa 21, parang, teka, ano ba, nasan ba? Well, kamusta po sa inyong lahat? Yan, sa
Yes,
mga taga
oo.
Dubai, Hong Kong, sa mga USA, di ba? Sa Japan,
Yes.
so sa lahat po ng mga kababaihan at kalalakihan na sumusubaybay ngayong gabing ito sa ating Women's Month Special.
Yes, oo. Hola sa inyong lahat. Hello, hello. And syempre, nako, today, Miga, such an exciting day, no? A celebration of strong women leaders. Nako, marami silang matututunan sa show na to for sure.
And syempre, this will not be possible without the help of our sponsor, which is Chooks to Go. Ang walang ibang, ano yan eh, kundi ang manok ng bayan na tumutulong
Yes.
din sa mga kababaihan dahil madami rin silang mga, kasi alam mo, yung mga kababaihan, madiskarte din naman talaga, lalo na ngayon pandemic, di ba? Yung diskarte ba sa buhay na kahit na anong mangyari, busog-lusog ang ating pamilya and well provided for. So yan, umaano sila
Oo.
eh. Baga, umaariba ang
Favorite nating lahat yan, ang Chooks to Go.
oo, 'di ba? Kahit walang sauce.
Nako,
Masarap.
oo, hindi na kailangan. Yes. May kanin, wala, papakyan. Yummy, yummy.
Oo naman. And of course, I know that our viewers are already excited to, ano mo yan, ano ba yan? Ano ba yung pag-uusapan nyo ngayong gabing ito? So, hindi ko na kayo pag-aantayin pa. Diba? Pag-aantay pa ba natin sila? Isususpense
Wag
pa ba
na.
natin?
Nako,
Oo.
eto na, ibigay na natin ang ating regalo sa mga kababaihan for Women's Month.
Mm-mm. So, with our strong women leaders na alam naman natin na inyong sinusubaybayan at this is the first, di ba? This is the first collaboration of strong women leaders here in V81. So, sana mag-enjoy kayong lahat sa gabing ito. And don't forget, di ba? Dahil nga po, tinutulungan tayo ng Chooks to Go sa ating mga palaban na beauty. So, sino po? Comment niyo po sa baba. Sino ang palaban na beauty sa buhay nyo? Comment their picture and naku,
Yes.
magkakaroon po kayo ng pagkakataon na magkaroon ng Chooks to Go Manok ng Bayan vouchers. Yan, masarap na
Naku,
kasama yan sa hapunan.
exciting. Oo. Naku,
Oh,
too bad hindi tayo pwedeng sumali. Sa ating mga viewers, naku, comes na. Oo,
Makikinig
joins
ako.
na kayo.
Kung sino yung magaganda yung message ko, makikihingi ako. Pwede po bang time
True.
part lang?
Correct! Nako, exciting yan. Nako, huwag niyong kakalimutan. I-comment niyo na yan.
Oh, and of course, Mika, without further ado, let's start na, 'di ba? Mag-umpisa na tayo sa ating diskusyon. So, di ka na. Wag na natin silang pag-antayin pa. So,
Let's start? Yes, oo.
here we go.
Here we go.
For our first guest. Our first guest is a very well-known fixture in Philippine basketball. She's the Executive Vice President of the National Basketball League and also the proponent of the first professional women's basketball league in the Philippines, which is the Women's National Basketball League. We have none other than the very lovely Miss Rose Montreal. Ma'am Rose, good evening po.
Hi, Miss Cara, Miss Rica. It's really a pleasure, no, to be invited today. I mean, to be part of the discussion regarding women empowerment in sports. So I'm really excited together with the two other panelists or guests. I know it's going to be a very good discussion tonight.
Oh, sizzling ang mga topics natin. And the game na ba kayo, Miss Rose? Sa ating magiging mga discussions for tonight?
Oo, Miss Cara, hindi kasi talaga ako sanay na I'm talking to you, na ikaw yung nag-i-interview. Like what I said a while ago, no? During off-air, I'm more used to discussing safety and health protocols with you, being the queen of athletic bubble, as they say, di ba? But hopefully naman, kakayanin naman yung discussion tonight.
I'm pretty sure, ma'am, na knowing that you have years and years of experience with Philippine sports and also in male-dominated areas, that you have a lot to contribute to our discussion. So thank you po at pinagbigyan nyo kami na dito sa aming discussion na makasama po kayo.
Yeah,
Yes,
pleasure is mine.
And towards our next guest, Miga Rica.
Yes, of course. Our next guest is the executive board member of the Philippine Olympic Commission. She is the Secretary General of the Muay Thai Association of the Philippines, the beautiful Miss Pearl Manegelod.
Hi, Kara and Rica. Thank you for having me again. And congratulations on your new show. And hello, Ma'am Rose. It's nice to meet you here. I'm very excited as well to be among notable women in sports and with the discussion that we're having tonight.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Rose. Yan. Nako, Miga, no? Very, si Ma'am Rose, ang kanyang beauty ay Muay Thai pa naman, di ba, section?
Si Ma'am Pearl, yes.
Ay, si Ma'am Pearl na naman. Rose and
Pero
Pearl,
kasi yung mga names ng ating guests today, very beautiful. Pearl Rose.
And di ba, sobrang feminine, pero talagang strong women leaders.
Of course.
Okay,
Yes,
and
yes,
of
yes.
course, we now move on sa ating third panelist. Siya po ay tinaguri ang the Dragon Lady of Philippine sports. None other than the President of the Philippine Sepak Takraw Association of the Philippines, Miss Karen Tanchanco Caballero. Good evening, Ma'am Karen. Ma'am, nakamute po ata tayo. Ayan.
I'm on mute, sorry. Good evening to our beautiful hosts for tonight. And congratulations on the new show, Kara and Rica. Hi, Miss Rose. Nice
Thank
finally meet you. And Pearl, hi. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Ayan. So, kompleto na po ang ating mga ever so powerful eves for tonight. So, Miga, I'm pretty sure that our viewers are very intrigued on what's going to happen. Ano ba? Kasi parang, alam mo, tinitingnan ko pa lang, mukhang dating show yung gagawin natin eh. Baka naman kakatulin pa lang nila, naisip na nila, teka, parang pwede ba akong mag-apply as searchy? So, explain naman natin, Mika, bago sila mag-comment ng mga searchy number 1.
Yes, of course. Okay, so tonight we will have a roundtable discussion, of course, with our 3 very powerful and influential women leaders in Philippine sports. So, ang mangyayari is we're gonna give you some of the most relevant women's issues in Philippine sports today. And of course, we want to know your thoughts and your perspectives in these topics. Yeah. So undoubtedly, because of you 3 women leaders, we've made great strides in women's sports. But we want to know, where does Philippine sports stand in these particular issues na ibibigay namin sa inyo tonight? Nako, ayan na, excited na ako, Miga. So kung ready na tayong lahat, sisimulan ko na ba, Miga? I'm gonna start.
Yeah, let's ask for a thumbs up sa ating mga very strong women. Ready na po ba tayo sa ating mainit-init na discussion? Naku, ayan, ready na.
Yes.
O, sige, fire away, Miga.
Yes, of course, women's sports, no, ang dami-daming issues that we can talk about, but we've narrowed it down tonight into 3 issues. The first issue that we are going to talk about is representation and exposure. So representation of women in sports boards and leadership positions, and exposure and representation of women athletes in media. So first, we would like to know your thoughts on this, Ma'am Rose.
Yeah. With regards to that topic, no, the foremost reason why we tried our best to launch the WNBL as a professional league, it's because it's really long overdue. In terms of exposure, before Janine Pontejos, before Afril Bernardino, we have Aliana Lim, we have Raisa Palmeradi, we have a lot of good women players, but they always end up playing as import abroad. So basically, isa yun sa reason kung bakit talaga we wanted to launch this women's professional league. Because right after UAAP, they've got nowhere to play. Exposure wise, yan lang naman nakakalaro ng UAAP or NCAA South, yung nabibigyan ng exposure in terms of media and all that. But we have a lot of good players in Cebu, in Mindanao, and it was surprising that I mean, when we had this WNBL draft, we had around 702 applicants for the draft, all women bowlers around the country, from as far as Isabela, from as far as Ilocos, to as far as Mindanao. So if I did put a cut off dun sa application ng draft, baka mag-balloon pa siya to 1,000. But it's tawag dito, yung position ng women sa basketball, we've seen this during the last Southeast Asian game in 2019, where we beat all our Asian neighbors in terms of Philippine basketball, but it was never given talaga a very good exposure. So good women bowlers always end up playing as imports abroad. So yun basically yung namin dyan, yun basically ang talagang gusto namin mabigyan ng pansin, mabigyan ng attention, because like what I keep on sharing with our Commissioner Heidi Ong, yung mission and vision ng WNBL is basically to expose the women's player in a playing field dominated by men, because in WNBL we believe that what men can do, women can do better.
Yes.
Amen. Ang
Thank
ganda
you.
naman
Yes,
nun.
thank you, Ma'am Rose. Ang ganda nun. Ang ganda ng final statement ni Ma'am Rose, that we, women, can do better, not only in sports, but in other fields also. So thank you, Ma'am Rose. How about you, Ma'am Pearl? We'd like to know your thoughts on this issue.
To be honest, in martial arts, with the emergence of MMA and yung One Championship, UFC, and Brave, and all those professional arenas now where Muay Thai players can participate in. Medyo lumawak na rin yung participation natin sa women. They have a pathway na kasi. So before, nung wala yun, we'd have Muay Thai athletes na babae who stay in the team for maybe a couple of years, and then retire na because they don't really have anywhere to go. They can be a coach or a technical official, but that's very limited. Of course, they can also go to management, but as we know, Muay Thai is a very male-dominated sport. So even for me, it was hard for me to really penetrate and earn the respect and trust of my colleagues when I first came in as SecGen. But I'm very grateful that in our association, I have the support of the team. It was really a collaborative effort. It was a cooperation between all stakeholders. So I always say na, women, we don't really want to take over the world. We just want to be equals. We want to be their partners. So in Muay Thai, in MAP, I'm just very lucky and fortunate that the men in our organization see it that way as well. So with that, we formed a Women's Commission a few years back because we really want to increase the participation of women, not just as athletes, but among, all the positions available to them, from management to technical officials. In fact, it was during, I think 2-3 years ago when we had our first international technical official in the Philippine for our IF. And she represents the country very well in our events. And because of that, now we have a lot of RJs na babae. And more women are participating. We have more athletes now na babae. We launch a lot of programs that really push for participation in sports among the youth and women. So we're very happy with the results. We're slowly seeing the fruits of our labor, but I'm not satisfied until I see more women on the management position. Sad to say, in our board, there's only one female board member, but we're amending the constitution to ensure that there is at least 30% of female on the board, because I really believe that it starts with the policies, it starts with the top, with the management, and you just cascade it down to your, to the grassroots level and to the other parts of the organization. So we're slowly getting there. And yeah, so I think for martial arts, it's not as bad as it was a few years ago. And we're very happy with the development that we have.
Thank you, Ma'am Pearl.
Yes.
Ma'am Pearl, for
Thank
the
you, Ma'am
purposes of
Pearl.
the audience po,
Yeah.
may we know what IF and RJ means?
Okay. IF is the International Federation. So sila yung parang head organization for all the national sports associations in the world. And then RJ is your referee and judge or technical officials.
Yan. So that's very exciting,
Thank
Mika,
you.
to know that we have women judges and referees, diba? Representing our
Yes,
country
oo.
overseas.
And also, it's also exciting that we have our male counterparts as our allies, as Ma'am Pearl said, hindi ba? Because that's very important. No, it's hard to move in a male-dominated world wherein you don't have the support of your counterparts.
Exactly.
So, yes, we have yun nga sa basketball, as Ma'am Rose said, and Ma'am Pearl. Then in martial arts, we have a male-dominated world, and yun nga, we see some changes, but we can have more, and we can expect more exposure for our women's athlete. And yun nga, so we've seen women's basketball and martial arts. How about sepak takraw, Ma'am? In sepak takraw, Ma'am Karen?
Well, sad to say, it's a very hard start for a team sport like sepak takraw, because it takes years really to develop a strong team, and normally crucial yung junior high school, senior high school, and college. And for some reason, nagkakaroon ng ibang priorities ang women in team sports. I would like to separate lang yung team sports and individual sports such as Muay Thai. However, it's very similar between myself and Miss Rose's concern. It takes years to develop teamwork. So may isang bumigay lang na posisyon dyan, we have to redo all the exposures, the trainings, and the opportunities for our athletes. And it doesn't help that we are not an Olympic sport yet. So it's not something so mainstream as basketball, na pag matangkad ka, if you're over 5'5" or 5'6", okay na. Pero kami nga yung the sepak takraw is kami yung spillover ng hindi na napasok sa volleyball at saka sa basketball. Sa amin na yung ang mga atletang yun. Yun yung namin. So, it's a very hard start. It's a very challenging start for sepak takraw. But we are trying our best because maganda rin naman yung naset ng men's team the past years. Nagiging sort of not mainstream yet, but it's a sport that's innately Filipino. Tapos, we encourage a lot of women participation then. So, it's a long stretch for us. But in terms of coaching and technical officiating, things are already in motion the past years, especially the mindfulness. As you know, my NSA represents 50-50 gender representation in the board. So we're very mindful of that, even with women teams. But it's a long way to go for us. It's a very long way, but we're hopeful na yung mindfulness ng community, not just for sepak takraw na, dun sa sport na yun, marami ng, nag-equalize na dumadami ng magagaling na babae. And I think that's where it starts. So it's a collective effort of not just, individual or team sport, but yung community natin sa sporting community as a whole really helps create that, that consciousness.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Karen. Definitely, Miga.
Yes,
You remember
is
yung...
integral part.
Oo, and Miss Karen, parang your answer reminds me of the He for She na campaign din ng UN, di ba? Na parang we have male champions that are trying to help out yung women to reach a higher level of sport or a certain industry.
Yes. Oh, and of course, women leaders taking part in sports leadership. Isa rin na ano natin, nakuha natin from our women leaders ngayon. Very important to have women there, to have a seat on the table, di ba, for policy
And I
making.
think men are starting to get comfortable really seeing us as a mainstay when they have meetings. Parang sort of they're making peace with it na okay, andyan sila. Diba? So we just have to keep on showing up, ladies. We just have to keep
Yeah,
on
may
showing
watchdog.
up. Yes.
Yes.
Agree.
Oo, dati siguro nagugulat pa na parang, oy, why, di ba, why is there someone here na parang, does she know, maybe on the part of Ma'am Pearl also, parang in Ma'am Rose, parang, alam ba nila to, basketball to, or, di ba, or martial arts, alam ba nila yung sasabihin nila, alam ba nila gagawin nila?
I got a lot of that when I started. Parang, alam mo ba ginagawa mo dito? Or alam mo,
Similar
parang,
journey.
anong alam mo, what do you know about this? Ganyan. na
You
parang,
are just your father's daughter. What do you know?
yeah, exactly. You were handed this position, so what are you going to do about it? So, I think I had to work twice as hard, really, thrice as hard to earn their trust,
And
to let them see that I can bring value to the organization, and eventually they saw that, and there were some who didn't see that and they left the organization, which is, I think, better for us because now everyone works well together. The people who remained in Muay Thai are those who are really committed to having a gender equal organization, and to really we all have the same direction. So I think it all worked out in the end.
Well, at least that's a very nice progression or improvement.
Yes.
And I also think especially sa naging experience ni Ma'am Rose, lalo male-dominated ang basketball. So, was it the same for you, Ma'am Rose?
Oo, actually, Miss Cara, Miss Rica, no, what people don't know is that it's more exciting to watch a women's basketball game than a men's basketball game, to be honest about it. Yeah, whether one season with WNBL when it was an amateur league, we go to different places like Zambales, we go to the provinces and play there, and you would see, a women player dunking, flying for the ball. Iba iba yung passion ng babae sa women's basketball. And yun yung gusto namin talaga ipakita this time na, once you try watching a women's basketball, baka makalimutan mo na yung men's basketball kasi it's going to be addictive, to be honest about it. Kaya si Com Edward, every time I have meetings for WNBL, lagi na sinasabi, parang nakakalimutan mo na yung NBL. It's not the case. But we're all excited kasi talaga. We're all excited because we know we have a lot of good talents to showcase this coming season. So, basically yun talaga yung gusto namin ipakita sa mga lalaki this time na pag napanood na ng buong Pilipino yung galing ng Pilipinas sa basketball, baka makalimutan na nila yung men's basketball. That's how exciting it is.
Definitely exciting. Ako parang excited akong manood, Mama.
Oo nga, di ba? Lalo na Pinay na nagdadunk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
I actually talked with Miss Janine Ponteos before, no, the winner of the 3-on-3 yun nga, championship, and she's only 5'6", but she's amazing inside the court. So kung makikita lang talaga ng mga Pinoy at mga Pinay yung galing ng Pilipina despite yun nga some setbacks, di ba? Yung kakulangan ng height or kung ano man, pero grabe, exciting na exciting.
This coming season we have a 6'5". We have a 6'5" center. Yeah.
Wow.
So really very exciting.
Like super 100% Filipina, Miss Rose?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh.
Exciting yan, ha? I'm gonna watch. 6'5",
And then the brother is 6'7" or 6'8". That's how tall the
Wow.
family is. Yeah.
Tapos
Wow.
pure Filipino, grabe,
Yeah.
level up na talaga tayong mga Pinoy. Ayan. So, sa mga viewers natin ha, alam nyo na.
Yes, oo, definitely. At yun nga, hindi alam ng mga tao. Hindi lang athletes, Miga, I don't know if you're gonna agree with this, mga ma'am. But having women leaders in for example, in our boards, nagkakaroon ng diversity of opinions, and women kasi can ask the difficult questions. And we like that. We like asking difficult questions. We like exploring unconventional paths. So isa yun sa nadadagdag, having women in power and in sports leadership. Ayan. So Miga, nako, umiinit
Oo. Oo, Miga, aside from yung sinasabi mo, I have to fully agree with that. And also yung little things. Because I'm sorry to say, siguro pag walang women's touch, ang isang leadership board or ang isang organization, minsan yung mga small things, siguro like biology na din ng women to notice the little things, di ba? Parang hindi
Yes.
masyadong napupulido in a way because parang, okay, sige, medyo broad yung pagtingin nila, di ba, sa operations, sa lahat eh. Medyo parang big picture kagad. Pero yun pala dun sa minsan nagkakaroon ng mga, di ba, yung mga nitty-gritty. Pero pag may girls, parang napupulido. So, yung synergy talaga ng tulungan, mas maganda. Di ba? Instead of parang competing against each other or them trying to show the women na in terms of ego na hindi, ganito, ganyan. Hindi maganda yung synergy kasi mas nagiging more successful yung leagues or yung organization or NSA for that matter.
Yes.
So, sige
I
Miga,
agree.
nako sizzling na ang ating discussion. Paumpisa pa lang yan. Diba?
Yes,
Unang
nasa
kagat pa
unang
lang
issue
yan.
pa lang tayo. Yes, and let's dive into the next issue. So the next the next topics, the next two topics that we want to discuss is compensation and pay gap. So yun, compensation and unequal pay in sports, specifically the discrepancies in pay for women's athletes has been an issue not only in sports but in other professional fields. Do women athletes still receive less compensation than their male counterparts? Also, are we less funded than our male counterparts? So, ang una nating tatanungin dyan, si Ma'am Pearl.
I don't even get paid, so
That's the answer.
Does that count? Because I'm a volunteer. Technically, being a section is a volunteer job. No, but I don't see that so much in Muay Thai kasi it's merit-based. Yung allowances and incentives na nakukuha nila from the PSC or from our association is all merit-based. Even when they go to professional events, I think they all receive the same compensation. So I don't think it's as big a problem as it is with, I guess, other professional leagues. For the funding part, not really, because we are again funded by PSC and we have our own funding. But I think it helps that having a woman on the board, we are able to advocate for funds really that are allocated for the development of women in Muay Thai. For example, the Women's Commission that we have now, talagang may budget sila. So you give us your programs, we will give you a budget. So it's the same for other commissions that we have, but we really try to put more funds into that kasi we're really trying to push that into our agenda. So again, it all goes back to, I guess, having women in the management level to really push for reforms and policies that benefit women. But yeah, again, not so glaring in Muay Thai. And I guess as an organization, NSA nga, iba yung setup, I guess. Yeah, so no.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Ma'am Pearl. How about in Sepak Takraw, Ma'am Karen?
Well, it's pretty much the same because we are being funded by the Philippine Sports Commission. And everything, the rates for allowance is really merit based for they look beyond the gender. In fact, meron nga talagang, for example, with Heidi, she is with her silver in the Olympics. Iba talaga yung rate for that. So we don't feel as much. And yes, as women leaders, we are not paid to do this. This is gratis work. So
For the love.
yes, we don't count.
Can count.
But do you think Miss Pearl and Miss Karen, the reason behind that is because you're already there? I mean, may representation na kayo in terms of the PSC, the Philippine Sports Commission. Kaya naging merit-based na siya. Or prior to that, ba may mga ganong discrepancies na nangyayari? Or all throughout, it was just merit-based?
For me, it has never been an issue of well, since I came in, I've been working for the NSA for the past 10 years. Never naging issue, but dependent sa NSA ang representation ng both genders. So yung mindfulness and
Right.
consciousness really. That's where doon nagkakatalo na pag magpadala ba dito, babae, lalaki or lalaki lang.
Yeah.
Kasi mas may laban ng lalaki. So, yung exposure ng representation, doon nagkakatalo. But in as far as it has always been, as far as I can remember, for PSC, it has always been merit-based.
Same with my experience. When I came in, pare-pareho naman allowances, or it depends nga on what medal you've gotten for that tournament.
World Championship,
yeah,
Olympics, SEA Games, Asian Games, merong bracketing sila for that.
Yeah.
Iba rin ang individual sports at saka sa team sports.
Team sports.
Interesting.
So at least with that, with the PSC and the NSAs, hindi na siya masyadong issue media, diba? And that's a good thing.
Totoo.
Because in other countries, I know that's one of the biggest concerns that they have.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to add,
Yes, ma'am.
then, kasi diba we have events that we fund on our own, so we'll have technical officials. So it was never an issue also. They all received the same compensation, same allowances. So gender was never an issue that we had to deal with when it comes to
the
that.
same for us. Yeah. The same for us.
Yes.
Saka
I
takot
think,
lang nila sa atin,
me-
no?
Yun nga nararamdaman. Kaya parang siguro nandyan sila, kaya talagang hindi pwede.
Hindi, saka ngayon, even with holding competitions, nagbibilang na kami not just for athletes, pati yung representation ng technical official. Ilan ng
Yes.
babae ng lalaki dyan?
Yeah.
Bakit kulang ang babae?
Yeah.
Or may ganong questions na nagiging second nature na sa mga stakeholders namin na hindi na dapat
Agree.
kailangan merong babaeng representation. So,
Yeah. Agree.
the constant consciousness and mindfulness lang talaga.
Yes. So interesting kasi yun nga, the funding comes from one source, of course. PSC and the NSAs, they allocate the budget, tama ba? Tama po ba?
Mhm.
So hindi nagkakaproblema sa compensation liga. And yun nga, meritocratic ang sistema dito sa amateur sports or sa national team sports. Pero interesting malaman kung ano ang sitwasyon sa world ng basketball with Ma'am Rose. Kayo naman po, Ma'am Rose.
Yeah. Actually, sa women's basketball, we're not as lucky as sepak takraw and the Muay Thai, no? Unfortunately, prior to the Pro League, funding-wise, the women's national team is very well funded from the time of Discovery Perlas to the Everbilena national team. Unfortunately, sa women's basketball, prior to the Pro League, yung babae na player, yung nagsuspend for them to be able to play in recreational league. Kasi like what I mentioned earlier, there's no aspiration for a women bowler after college. Like after UAAP, they've got nowhere to play except the national team, which has only very limited slots. So talagang talagang the best of the best for you to be part of the for you to be part of the national team. So ang experience sa mga women bowlers natin, for them to be to keep themselves fit and to continue playing the sports they love and they embrace to be part of their lives, is at the end of the day, mag-chip in, magbubuo sila ng team, and then mag-chip in sila for them to be able to join recreational league. But now that we have a professional women's league, medyo nagkaroon ng 180 degrees. Now they will be given salary for playing, and it will be part of their career already in playing basketball. Unfortunately lang, when we launched the women's professional league, medyo pandemic. So in terms of pay, hindi kami nag-impose ng salary cap. What we imposed was a team cap. A team cap that includes already the pay from coaches down to the ball balls, to the tapers, etc., including the player salary. But yun siguro yung one thing that, that nagkaroon talaga ng development in terms of women's basketball kasi ngayon, they'll be getting allowances and pays already, and basketball will already be considered part of their career. Yun. It's just that siguro, again, another good thing when it comes to women's basketball, yung mga women's ballers natin, majority of them, maybe I can say, 90% of them are employed. So, unlike yung men's basketball, talagang they embrace basketball already as part of their occupation. They treat it as their career talaga. Well, ngayon, we're slowly introducing basketball as a career for women, but ang maganda lang talaga is that 90% of the women ballers in the industry have 8 to 5 jobs. So yun lang yung maganda sa women's basketball.
Kaya talagang mag-multitasking, no, Amiga, as evidence. Ma'am Rose, so parang, okay,
Yes,
sige,
kasi
start
some
mo
of
na.
some of our ballers are doctors, di ba? They have other
Oh, si Dr. Kainglet.
full-time
Oo.
jobs. Yes, oo.
I remember si
Doctors,
Dr. Kainglet when she was, ano po ba, when she was drafted? Tama po ba, Ma'am Rose? She was
in the
inside
ER. Yeah.
Yes.
Hindi pala ER, OR. Actually, nagtatahi siya
OR.
ng she's in the OR when I called her name as the first draft pick, and currently nagtatahi siya ng injury sa knee when her name was called. And then not only doctors, marami bankers, call centers, executives in their own right. So, yun yung maganda dun sa sa community. Talagang majority of the players have 8 to 5 jobs.
So, it also shows din, Mika, no, na parang yun nga, in terms of multitasking and the strength of women, talagang nandyan yung sa time management, yung in terms of the priorities and the discarded, nandyan. It's
And also, yes, and also, if you are doing something not for the money or for the compensation, may ibang fire, may ibang drive. Of course. I would like to add lang to what Ma'am Rose said kasi it's the same for us professional boxers. Sa amin din may ganyan ding problem that not a lot of managers, not a lot of promoters want female boxers kasi wala naman silang kikitain from us. So kami kailangan meron kaming trabaho, kailangan meron kaming sariling pera para magkaroon kami ng sariling team. So it's the same struggle. And yun nga, sabi ni Ma'am Rose, the good thing about that is you are playing not just for the money. Di ba?
Oo. Kita-kita mo naman, yan nga, si Ma'am Karen saka si Ma'am Pearl. Di ba? They've been very successful in their own rights, pero purely volunteer work siya.
Yes.
But still, the fire and the passion that they have for it is there. And lalo na in the case of ni Ma'am Pearl and Ma'am Karen of Sepak Takraw and Muay Thai during the last SEA Games that was held in the Philippines, multi-awarded ang kanilang mga respective sports.
Okay, so ayan, nasa pangalawang issue pa lang tayo, pero marami na tayong na-bring up na mga importanteng mga issues, not only in women's sports, but women in the professional world in general. So before we go to the last topic, we would like to have a small break for us and for our viewers. So we'll see you guys after the break.
We'll be back shortly. This is a V81 radio special, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. Isang masayang April na naman ang inyong aabangan sa Home Not Alone Season 3 kasama si Papa Gio, Karen Sita, Kelvin Miranda, and Mikey Quintos, Sams David, P6, and Curay. Kaya mag-ready na sa all-out na kwentuhan, kulitan at kantahan this April sa Home Not Alone Season 3 kasama si Papa Gio. Wednesdays 7 p.m. California time o Thursdays 10 a.m. Philippine time. Dito lang yan syempre sa V81 Radio, Los Angeles.
Kasabay ng isang panibagong taon ang pag-asa ng masaganang bukas. At ngayong 2021, kasama niyo pa rin ang inyong manok ng bayan sa kasaganahan sa pamamagitan ng Chooks to Go Reseller Program. Noong 2020, libo-libo ang naging bossing ng sarili nilang negosyo dahil sa Chooks to Go Reseller Program. Sa gitna ng pandemya, naging sandalan ng mga Chooks to Go resellers ang negosyong pinatatag ng mga produktong hindi lang masarap, kundi healthy pa. Sa maliit na puhunan, bossing ka na ng negosyong ligtas mong mapapalago sa sarili mong tahanan. Kaya magpapatuloy ang misyon ng Bounty Agroventures Incorporated sa pag-alalay sa sambayan ng Pilipino.
Maganda po yung reseller na napasok ko dahil kahit pa paano di ako nag-iisip. Bawat may pera. Hindi ko katulad talaga nung hindi ako nag-reseller na wala talaga.
Simula po nung nag-reseller ako sa Chooks to Go. Yun po yun. Hindi po nag-start. Nakapagano na po ako sa tindahan namin. Tapos yung water station, meron na rin po kami. Tulungan ko na po yung asawa ko.
Inaanyayahan ko po kayo na subukan maging Chooks to Go reseller. Dahil sa Chooks to Go may magandang kinabukasang hinaharap.
Simple lang maging Chooks to Go reseller. Mag-fill out ng application form online. Ilagay ang inyong full name, email, contact number, tax identification number, province, town group, at address. Or tumawag sa pinakamalapit na business centers sa inyong lugar. Abangan ang text o email confirmation matapos masubmit ang inyong application. Abangan ang tawag mula sa Chooks to Go representative para makumpirma kung approved ba ang inyong application. Pag aprobado na, pwede na pumili ng produkto mula sa cooked and frozen products na ibibigay ng inyong friendly Chooks to Go representative. Sa halagang 3,000 pesos, negosyo ready ka na. May libre pang Chooks to Go Styro Box. Sa unti-unting pagbangon ng ating bansa, katuwang ng bawat Pilipino, ang Chooks to Go ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan, kaya maging Chooks to Go reseller na.
Now back to the special on V81 Radio Worldwide.
Yes, welcome back to our viewers, mga amiga. So today, ayan, kakatapos lang ng ating break. I would like to call back, of course, my co-host, Migang Kara. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Chara! Nandito na naman ako. So, Miga, the first part of our show was very juicy. Ang dami na nating napulot. And we're looking forward now to the last part and the last issues na ating tatalakayin dito sa ating celebration of strong women leaders in Philippine sports na episode ng Mika Spotlight.
Yes,
of course,
and
let's call on our guests na.
Yes, we'd like to call back our guests, our lovely women leaders.
Women leaders in Philippine sports, Ma'am Rose, Ma'am Karen, and Ma'am Pearl. And for our next concern or issue that a lot of Filipino women in sports are somehow interested and concerned in. Kasi lumalaki na pinag-usapan na natin kanina, lumalaki na ang representation. So since lumalaki na ang representation natin, are they actually safe? Diba? So the third topic that we have is safe sports. Are they actually in an environment that is conducive for their growth, that they are well protected? So let's start first with Ma'am Karen. So what are your thoughts about safe spaces for Philippine women in sports?
In terms of consciousness, we are slowly getting there. In fact, POC has recently approved by the board the technical working group of safe sports to align ourselves to the IOC movement. And this is being spearheaded by Athletes Commission through Meggy Ochoa, who's a very staunch supporter really of not just the safe sport, but also, safety for kids from abuses. The risks will always be there, not just for athletes and coaches, even with ourselves, with women leaders. We are not spared from such. It's really just that siguro as women, kaya naman tayo tumatapang din is because we have to learn to really, we are not damsel in distress. We have learned through the years really how to protect ourselves, our interests, and to keep the course talaga on our advocacy. So, little by little, when conversations like this happen and constantly always brought out in social media, was a very strong information talaga across all I think it would be achievable, but I could not say that it's 100%. We can still, even not just in the Philippines, we still hear stories of abuses here and there, not just in the probably amateur and professional sports. Sa lahat ng women stakeholders, it's very much present pa rin. But it's up to us really to stay the course. Knowing what's right, what's not right, and talking about it, and being comfortable talking about it, and making people uncomfortable about it, especially yung mga on the other side of the spectrum. So I would say it's still a work in progress. But at some point, like our representation, I don't think we are this represented in Philippine sports 20 years back, 30 years back. We have always been there, but as a second stringer, now we can see all of us. Now we have a name, we have a face, we have a personality. And I think it will follow, but we just have to stay the course. We have to be relentless in really talking about it and what's right and what's not right, and empowering our stakeholders. Especially now, yun na nga with Safe Sport Commission that we have in POC that's already in motion. We are very hopeful that we will get there at some point. Not exactly how we envision it to be, but maybe 5-10 years. These conversations constantly out there would be a big help, really, for us to really push for the safe sport.
And thank you very much, Miss Karen. So talagang, amiga, yung advancements natin within the past 10 years has been massive in terms of safe sports and safe spaces. Sige, thank you very much, Ma'am Karen, for all that insight. And let's move now or move on to Ma'am Rose naman regarding her thoughts about safe spaces in sports.
Okay. When it comes to women's basketball, no, let me share lang my experience with you guys. There was a time that we had a challenge in selling women's basketball. So we were slowly introducing women's basketball by starting it with a 3x3 thing in the professional league. But it was actually marred by controversy because how would I say it? The leadership is not keen in selling the skills of the women, but selling the skin. There was this memo release na no players will be accepted if they have short hair, if they have voice cut. Should be pepper. I mean, the players should be wearing pepper shorts. If possible, players should be playing with blush-ons. In women's basketball, we're not in, particularly in WNBL, we're not selling skins. We're not selling how beautiful the women baller face is. For us, we're selling the skills. And we know and we're confident that we have a lot of Filipina talent in the Philippines for basketball. So, with regards to the safety of our players, uh, our technical guy already imposed this what we call no contact situation between the referee and the players. What do I mean by no contact situation? Unless the players, for example, natumba or whatsoever, unless the player asks for the referees or the game officials assistance, then that's the only time the referee can pull her up. Pag walang signal from the player that, hey ref, I need an assistance, the referees are prohibited to like pick the players up, assist in any way. So when it comes to safety, talaga we're really trying to, research pa on how we can make this, women's basketball a safe place for our women bowlers.
Yes. Thank you, Ma'am Rose. Naku, Miga, I would like to add lang, no, yung sinabi ni Ma'am Rose about selling women, selling the skills.
Damang-dama
Vis-a-vis
natin yan,
selling the
Miga.
skin. Yes, oo, kasi actually, issue din yan ng representation because, well, the audience are used to women being a certain mold as they are represented in media, di ba? Women athletes should follow a certain mold. I think we can all benefit from showing different kinds of women, di ba? Different representations of women para mag-umabante tayo. And yun nga sabi ni Ma'am Rose, they're selling skills. So you can come as you are. Diyos ko, magbablush on ka ba naman? Sa game, eh di humulas-hulas.
Ang lagkit-lagkit pa naman nun pag nandun ka sa court, nagpa-basketball.
Correct. Oo. And yun nga, since basketball is, well, in some way a contact sport,
Yes,
it's
it is.
inevitable din na, na yun nga, there should be consent on the part of the player if she wants to be touched or not.
I think that's also a good safeguard on the part na ko,
Yeah.
sa'yo, Ma'am Rose, on the part of the NBL. For me, yung sinasabi nga ni Ma'am Karen, yung consciousness yung awareness na parang you push for the safeguards prior to, di ba, parang the people asking for it. Because as a woman, you already know what you want to feel and
Yes.
what you, di ba, what environment you would feel safe in. So, yan, nako. So, natapos na tayo sa environment ng Philippine sports in general, basketball. Dito naman tayo sa another contact sport. So, Ma'am Pearl, what are your thoughts about safe spaces naman po?
Okay. I mean, when you talk about safe sports, it's very hard to separate that from creating a safe space for athletes and for women in general, right? And what does creating a safe space mean? It means that I, as a woman, I feel confident and I know that I am protected, within that space, that I am not afraid to voice out my concerns or talk without fear of repercussions and things like that. And to be honest, if I ask myself that now, do I feel safe in the sporting community? And my answer is no, I don't. Because, I'm just going to be candid here. I don't, kasi there are a lot of things that we are not still comfortable to say or do because of fear of the repercussions. So I really think safe sport is such a complex idea na it extends beyond sports. It really extends to the culture that we have at the moment na are we creating a safe environment for everybody? Because you cannot just protect one sector of society, women, without protecting all the other sectors of society. So like what you said, it's really a synergy. It's a cooperation among all the sectors of society. So I think it all starts with education, educating people on how can they act towards women, what they should do towards women, how they should think or say to women. So it's a lot of work. And like what Karen said, it's a work in progress. And I'm happy that the POC Athletes Commission is taking the first step to initiate the Safe Sports working group. Kasi that's a big step. And I hope that the NSAs would follow suit and create their own safe sport policies. Kasi like in Muay Thai, we've had reports from are grassroots, not naman grassroots athletes, but more of the recreational, goers and practitioners of Muay Thai na they don't, na may, like an abuse happened from an instructor. It's very hard for us to regulate that because they're not under the NSA. So madami kasing gym instructors na nagtuturo ng Muay Thai, right, na kung san-san lang galing, they're not really certified by us. So we cannot control what they do in their gyms. So when somebody comes forward and says that she has been abused by this particular instructor in the gym, it reflects back on the sport as a whole, as Muay Thai as a whole, even if it's not under our jurisdiction, which should be actually. So in our association now, we're also trying to create that commission because we want to have a sort of control or regulate these instructors all over. Even if they don't plan to become members or to be associated with MAP, at least we're out there educating them on what safe sports is, on how women in particular can define what abuse is or what harm is for them. Kasi di ba, madami magsasabi, oh, that's her version of the story. But I think he said, she said ang nangyayari pag may nangyayaring ganyan. So we want to take that out of the equation and really have operative definitions on what is abuse, what is harm, and where can you not cross the line. So it really, you have parameters that you can set na this is abuse, this is not, and that's where we can really start creating, I think, that this, a safe space for everybody.
Well, I agree with that, Ma'am Pearl, and thank you also for your thoughts. Because in terms of yung definition and the reporting, alam mo, Miga, yun yung parang the reporting system, who do I seek help from? Diba? Yun yung, I feel that yun yung somehow, it's something that we need to establish in general. Because like if I am able to parang be cornered in a certain situation, meron kang mga iniisip na backlash diba? Na parang, if I speak out, na parang baka ang netizens, sabi na, papansin lang yan, diba?
Right.
Or ano lang yan, ganito, ganyan, yung victim blaming. So, yung reporting system din talaga. I hope that the existing systems eventually progress or grow and become updated to be able to create that culture na parang you're free to speak out about abuse and not be blamed for it. Na parang ikaw kasi, alam mo naman na ganito, ganyan Or kaya, sorry po, I have to bring this up. Especially with, yung dynamics, Miga, ng coaches, lalo na karamihan ng coaches, men. Yung mga bigla ka na lang nagiging kabit. Diba? Kabit yan ng coach, kabit yan ng ganito. Parang just because you're close to your coach.
That's true. And yun nga, so some of these things, hindi man nga lang pa umaabot dun sa consent factor. Kasi, how can you consent kung implicit na dun sa relationship yung power? Diba? Parang, yung palang inequality ng power relationship, it puts you at a losing end Diba? Parang, you feel, how do you actually say that to your coach? Or who is your coach accountable to? Kanino ka magsusumbong? And yun nga, if I say my piece, ano yung repercussions nito sa akin, sa career ko, o sa akin bilang babae. So there are so many things that we think about before we speak up, and up until the point na hindi na tayo nag-iisip before we say something about our rights. Maybe yun yung ating ultimate goal, I think.
Hopefully, parang we come to a certain culture wherein, kagaya nga na sinabi ni Ma'am Pearl, it's very open. People are open to listening and hearing us out. Miga, siguro last point ko na lang din. Alam ko sila, Ma'am Karen, Ma'am Rose, Ma'am Pearl, at one point, being in a male-dominated environment, na sabihan na din na parang just because they're speaking out their mind, diba? Na parang the term, sorry, bitchesa. Diba? Parang, ay, nako, difficult siya, or she's bossy, ang bossy naman yan, o filingera, just because parang they speak out their minds. But if you put it into a certain context na parang, okay, if it's someone else who's saying that, na not to pit against naman yung men and women, but yun nga parang sometimes if we're trying to prove a point lang, and sometimes women can be passionate, yun parating inaano na parang, oh, difficult naman siya or bossy. Is this
Because we
something
have
that,
to be, di ba? We have to be passionate.
I mean, even at the management level, I get mansplained a lot. I think parang, okay, that's why I said earlier, do I feel safe really in my space, even on the management level? No, I don't. Kasi I get mansplained a lot. I get gaslighted a lot. And it's not easy. And where do we turn to on the management? Because when we think of safe start parenting athletes and coaches, what about the people in the management? Who do we turn to when we experience these things? Na parang, we don't have anyone to turn to. So I think that should also be taken into consideration with the safe sports thing.
That's right. That's why we only have, we have a small group of women na parang, does this ever happen to you? Hello, we take comfort na, okay, this is not just me. It's not just me.
Yes.
Na you are just mansplained na, I exactly know what you're saying. You don't need to be condescending about that because I exactly know. So, what on that table, when you turn to the left and right, parang, I need to find someone like my own na naiintindihan.
Right,
Hindi ako sensitive.
exactly. Yeah, you start questioning yourself.
Exactly. So, I think right now, these conversations, small ones, big ones, when we constantly make ourselves feel, no, we are not losing our minds. We are moving forward. We are staying the course.
Yes.
I hope to surprise ourselves 5-10 years from now that safe sport would be second nature na. In the same way that the sporting community is quite comfortable seeing a lot of us already out there. So it's just a matter of time. We just have to really, be relentless in, the conversation, privately and publicly.
Exactly.
And that's where change happens. So I'd like us to surprise ourselves 10 years from now. Na second nation itong conversation na, it's okay. Because 10 years ago, ano pa yan, that's a taboo. But now, we're good na those conversations.
oo, tipong when we look back to this episode, Miga, mga tipong, oy, diba, wala na, lipas na yan.
That's old news.
Yun,
Oo.
totoo. And yun nga, women have to speak louder and more passionately and more in a more persuasive manner. Kasi minority tayo, our voices have to be louder. We have to make sure we're being heard and we're not being mansplained.
While we're waiting for that time, while we're waiting for that time to happen, we really have to find our sports sisters. That tayo ang magtutulungan.
Agree.
Be it
I so
management,
agree.
media, tayo lang ang magtutulungan. Because we
To
pretty
highlight
much share the same journey. Same harassment, same fears, same
Same
story,
hugot.
same hugot, diba? So tayo rin eh. So while we're waiting for that time to happen, we have to hang on to each other talaga.
Oo. Yung talaga, sisterhood. At ako, Miga, curious ako on the side lalo ni Ma'am Rose. Kasi basketball, di ba parang talagang testosterone filled sport. Tapos, mama, parang ikaw lang yata yung talagang mag-isang nagmamanage na babae sa Pilipinas ng isang napakalaking league. So, how is it, ma'am, with your experience?
Actually, men by nature in basketball are bullies. They are. Actually, I've experienced being bullied, but at the end of the day, I have to tell myself, mag-isa ka lang eh. So you really have to be strong. At the end of the day, if I have a point, I will really fight for it. I mean, at the end of the day, intrigahin nyo na ako anong gawin nyo sa akin, but at the end of the day, if I have a mission, if I believe in something, I will really push for it. Tawag dito, ako personally, I experienced that in the basketball industry. And, I guess naman I was able to overcome everything. It's just a matter of belief in yourself. And at the end of the day, you really have to project a very strong personality for them to think na, hindi ako kaya, hindi ko kaya to. Basically yun, maybe most of the time front lang talaga. Sabi ko nga maybe ako lang yung 1 or 2% sa basketball industry, but you know, you really have to you really have to project a very strong personality, otherwise hindi ka tatagal sa industry. Hindi ko naman na-experience yung na-harass or something. The perfect term is being bullied. Kasi syempre, sometimes pag tahimik ka lang, akala nila okay lang. But you know, pag ako kasi talaga nagsalita, ano talaga, what do you call that? I have to really make a stand. Yun talaga. Otherwise, edi maghiwalay na tayo. Ganun lang naman. I mean that's simple.
So, Miga, I think that's what we all have in common at some point na parang yun nga minsan na parang nagiging maliit yung tingin sa women in sports just because majority sila. But it's nice now that we have these strong women leaders standing up for us and our future women who would like to get involved in sports, so paving the way for more improvement.
Yes, oo. Yung presence nila will inspire younger athletes to take leadership roles in sports. Yun yung kailangan eh. You have to see a role model para maisip mo na, okay, pwede akong maging leader. Di ba?
And despite of the challenges, standing strong. So, tama nga sinabi ni Ma'am Karen kanina, tapos na ang era na damsel in distress tayo. Hindi naman na tayo yung nagdi-distress, medyo iba naman yun. Pero, yun. Kung ma-distress man sila, kagaya nga na sinabi ni Ma'am Rose at ni Ma'am Pearl, sorry, trabaho lang. So,
Sila mag-adjust.
Truly.
We're here to stay, so get comfortable.
Yes. Get used to us.
And we will be having more improvements with this women in Philippine sports. I'm pretty sure of that, Miga. Considering na yung women leaders natin are there at the forefront now. And I know that our viewers, diba, lalo na yung ating mga, hello po sa mga natin sa Dubai, sa Hong Kong, sa USA. International na tayo, Miga. May pag-ganun na.
Yes.
Alam ko nakaka-relate sila to a certain extent because it doesn't only happen in sports. It happens in all industries. And
the corporate world. Oo.
Yes, oo. Ano ba niyan, di ba? Corporate world, healthcare, lahat. Parang
household.
Household. So, I would like to take this opportunity also to ask a message from our strong women leaders na gusto nilang i-impart sa ating mga viewers in terms of our fight for representation and exposure, compensation and pay gap, and safe industries in general. So, for now, sige, let's start with Ma'am Pearl for the message to our viewers. And if may gusto po kayong i-promote, feel free to do so para masundan po ng ating viewers.
To all the Filipino women out there, I hope you find it within yourselves, the strengths that you have, the inherent qualities and values that women have, and use it to your advantage. We are strong by nature. We are relentless, as Karen said earlier. And once we set our eyes on a goal, I know that we are, we're very persevering and we're very determined to really achieve what we set out to do. So don't be scared to speak out. You have a tribe of women that supports you. You might not see them, but they are there behind you, supporting you all the way. So, have that courage to speak up. If something doesn't make you comfortable, if you want to change something, because that's the only way that we can really achieve equality and make this place better for everybody. And to promote Linden or Muay Thai, we have a lot of chapters in Hong Kong. We have chapters in Kuwait and Dubai. So if anyone wants to get into martial arts so you can defend yourself, gain confidence, get fit, we have certified instructors from Muay Thai Association of the Philippines. So we hope to see you there, and I hope everybody is safe where they are right now.
Thank you, Ma'am Pearl. And of course, now we move on to Mom Karen.
Thank you, Kara and Rika. Just to add to what Pearl said, no, uh, pretty much an OFW Filipina is no different from a Filipina athlete in terms of bravery, in terms of lakas ng loob, diskarte sa buhay, and taas ang kamay ko sa mga women who has decided to leave home and be somewhere else rather than be with their families. So, take heart on the fact that yes, we are Filipinas. Kahit saan tayo itapon sa mundo, we will thrive, we will survive, and we will beautifully excel. Yes, please don't stop asking questions or speaking your mind when it's no longer comfortable or doesn't sit well with you. It's okay. It's okay. So, pretty much the same, you need to find your tribe wherever you are. You need to talk to someone about your story. And remember, when you think you're losing your mind, you're not losing your mind because there's someone else who is walking the same journey as you are. Lalo na yung hardship. So you just have to find your tribe. And then just hang on to your truth until, kung whatever kung ano yung gusto nyo mangyari will happen. And as far as sepak takraw din, I will just promote that we have naman Festa Qatar. We have a club in Qatar in the Middle East. So every so often they come together. Please feel free to our kababayans in the Middle East. They're based in Qatar, but they have a little chapter all around the Middle East area. So feel free to get in touch with them. They're on Facebook also. FESTA Qatar, and that's a sepak takraw club that we have. Please stay safe, and to our OFWs, we're very proud of you. Hang on, things will be better in probably another year or two, but please, let's stay strong and healthy. God bless everybody.
Thank you very much, Miss Karen. Naku, napaka-insightful ng mga messages ng ating mga palaban na beauties. And of course, we go to last but not the least, Ma'am Rose Montreal.
Thank you, Miss Cara. Thank you, Miss Rica. It's an opportunity to be part of this discussion together with Ma'am Karen and Ma'am Pearl. With regards to WNBL, we just promote to advocacy, women empowerment, and gender equality. We believe that what men can do, women can do better. And my message to the young girls, just keep chasing your dream. WNBL is now here to make your dreams come true. That's all. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ma'am Rose, Ma'am Karen, and Ma'am Pearl. So, Amiga, nakita mo naman ang ating mga palaban na beauties ng Philippine sports. Talaga namang ready na itaas ang bandila ng WANA. O, talagang walang pandemya. Ready ang ating mga
I'm sure we're all inspired, no? Lahat ng mga kababaihan na manonood ng episode na ito ay may inspire. Hindi naman kababaihan, siguro kahit mga allies natin, mga male counterparts natin may inspire sa strength ng ating female leaders.
Oo, knowing na syempre na kasama din sila sa ating pag-unlad.
We'll be back shortly. This is a V81 radio special, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. Isang masayang April na naman ang inyong aabangan sa Home Not Alone Season 3 kasama si Papa Gio, Karen Sita, Kelvin Miranda, and Mikey Quintos, Sams David, P6, and Curay. Kaya mag-ready na sa all-out na kwentuhan, kulitan at kantahan this April sa Home Not Alone Season 3 kasama si Papa Gio. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. California time o Thursdays, 10 a.m. Philippine time. Dito lang yan syempre sa V81 Radio, Los Angeles. Connected ka na ba para laging updated sa mga bagong shows, promos, trending news, viral videos, events o patok na OPM hits? Just follow us on Facebook. Simple lang. I-type lang ang letter V81 Radio. O, di ba madali lang? Kaya i-like at i-follow na.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio, dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio, para sa inyo to. V81 Radio.
Hello po, ako po si Nicole Ovilio. Pinoy Music ba ang hanap mo? Well, download V81 Radio app, available on App Store and Google Play. Free now, free forever.
Now back to the special on V81 Radio Worldwide.
And now we're back. Kulang ang isang episode para sa ating balitaktakan with women leaders. But that was very insightful, Miga. Talagang I was braced to my seat when all of that was happening. Miga Rica? Wala, Miga.
Yes. I'm back. Yes.
Feeling ko sumasayaw-sayaw ka dun sa V81.
V81. Oo, super catchy. V81. Napapasayaw ako. Correct.
Oo. And of course, this special or Women's Month special would not be possible without the help of our partner, which is Chooks to Go. So kung gusto nyo nga
Chooks to Go, yes.
Isang palaban at madiskarting Wana. Ano pa ba gagawin natin? Siyempre, talaga namang mag-comment lang po kayo, di ba? Mag-comment
Yes,
kayo.
comment the picture. Tama ba, Miga? Di ba?
Picture na inyong ideal Wana na tinuturing yung palaban.
Pwede ba kitang i-comment? Charot.
Comment din. Kasi pwede tayo manalo ng mga
Hindi.
Sayang naman. Naku naman.
Oo.
Susunod na ibang shows, di ba? Kung meron ganito, doon ako sasali. So, the only thing that we need to do, ayan po, is share sa ating comments below ang picture ng inyong ideal Wana na tinuturing nyo na palaban na beauty sa buhay nyo to get a chance to win. Ito pong ating Chooks to Go.
Nako.
Chooks to Go.
Sino bang may ayaw niyan? Lahat tayo gusto ng Chooks to Go voucher.
Shout out din po kay Sir Ronald Mascareñas at kay Sir Mel Mac. Yan, maraming
Hello, mga
salamat
sir.
po for supporting ang ating Viva Amiga special dito sa V81. So, ano pa nga ba, Amiga?
Oo, yan ako. So, natapos na ang ating Women's Month special, ang Viva Amiga. Pero syempre, as we draw closer to the end of March, dapat hindi lang March na celebrate ang mga kababaihan. Even after the Women's Month, dapat patuloy nating sineselebrate ang ating mga special na kababaihan sa buhay natin.
Yes, every day is Women's Day. Pwede ba yun?
Yes.
Every day is
True.
Women's Day.
And Chooks to Go Day.
Sana umulan ng Chooks. So yan,
True.
maraming salamat. And of course, para sa mga interested sa reseller programs ng mga Wana Warriors natin dyan na madidiskarte, kagaya ng ating mga strong women leaders, ang kailangan nyo nga lang po ay pumunta sa Facebook pages ng ating mga Chooks to Go resellers, or kasi may kanya-kanyang ano yan, Miga, eh. Later we will show in the vlog. Meron yung kanya-kanyang chapters na, di ba? So, sama na natin yan sa discard natin sa pag-augment ng ating budget.
Ito na yata yung sign nila, Miga. So, ito na yata mga sign nyo, mga wanas. So, avail of the reseller program. Napakagandang program nito. Lalo ngayon.
Amiga, sa halagang 3,000 pesos, pwede ka na maging reseller
diba?
ng ating Chooks to Go. And of course, we'd like to shout out sa ating mga viewers na sumabaybay sa ating episode, si Sir Jojo Gatti, and of course si Sir Doy. Nako, thank you very much, Sir Doy, sa parati mong panonood sa aming mga shows. Ganyan din po si kapatid na Gab Herrera.
Yes, hi Gab, Bigong Gab.
Oo. Nako, kapatid, ito. Alam ko yung ating idolong future Olympian na gold medalist sa boxing. Ating migang si Nesty.
Yes, of course. Hello, Nesty. Oo. Ang ating amigang talaga namang magdadala at nagdadala ng pride sa ating lahat.
Oo. And of course, nandyan si Coach Hazel din. Si Coach Hazel, tsaka si Tita Ari. Opo. And si Doc Jason. So, nako, thank you po.
Si Ma'am Aristel din. And Sir Jason. Yes.
Nako,
Sir
totoong
Jason Huerte.
relax si Ma'am Karen. So, ano pang inakitay nyo sa comment section para manalo na kayo ng ating pagkalinamnam-linamnam na Chooks to Go. So, comment lang po ng ituturin yung ideal na wana. This is only open sa ating Philippine viewers and followers. So, malay mo na
Oo nga, baka maging international na tayo. Pero Miga, saan nila aabangan kung nanalo sila ng voucher?
Siyempre, pag nanalo po kayo, abangan nyo lang po. I-click ang link ang link para makapag-subscribe, 'di ba? At makapag-follow sa V81 para malaman nyo.
Ipo-post natin sa V81.
Opo.
Yes. We will post the winners on V81.
And maraming salamat po at sinubaybayan nyo kami sa ating Viva Amiga, a celebration of strong women leaders in Philippine sports. Ako po ang inyong Miga, Kara Pinay Wrestler Mallonga. Happy Women's Day po sa inyong lahat at stay safe.
Yes, ako naman ang inyong Miga, Rica Aquino. Also, happy Women's Month sa ating lahat and stay safe in your homes and Holy Week na. May this be a reflective time for all of us.
Thank you very much sa lahat. Sana nag-enjoy kayo. Paalam and God bless.
Paalam!
Kasabay ng isang panibagong taon ang pag-asa ng masaganang bukas. At ngayong 2021, kasama niyo pa rin ang inyong manok ng bayan sa kasaganahan sa pamamagitan ng Chooks to Go Reseller Program. Noong 2020, libo-libo ang naging bossing ng sarili nilang negosyo dahil sa Chooks to Go Reseller Program. Sa gitna ng pandemya, naging sandalan ng mga Chooks to Go resellers ang negosyong pinatatag ng mga produktong hindi lang masarap, kundi healthy pa. Sa maliit na puhunan, bossing ka na ng negosyong ligtas mong mapapalago sa sarili mong tahanan. Kaya magpapatuloy ang misyon ng Bounty Agroventures Incorporated sa pag-alalay sa sambayan ng Pilipino.
Maganda po yung resela na napasok ko dahil kahit pa paano di ako nag-iisip. Bawat may pera. Hindi ko katulad talaga nung hindi ako nag-reseller na wala talaga.
Simula po nung nag-reseller ako sa Chooks to Go, yun po yun. Hindi po nag-start. Nakapagano na po ako sa tindahan namin. Tapos yung water station, meron na rin po kami. Tulungan ko na po yung asawa ko.
Inaanyayahan ko po kayo na subukan maging Chooks to Go reseller. Dahil sa Chooks to Go may magandang kinabukasang hinaharap.
Simple lang maging Chooks to Go reseller. Mag-fill out ng application form online. Ilagay ang inyong full name, email, contact number, tax identification number, province, town group, at address. Or tumawag sa pinakamalapit na business centers sa inyong lugar. Abangan ang text o email confirmation matapos masubmit ang inyong application. Abangan ang tawag mula sa Chooks to Go representative para makumpirma kung approved ba ang inyong application. Pag aprobado na, pwede na pumili ng produkto mula sa cooked and frozen products na ibibigay ng inyong friendly Chooks to Go representative. Sa halagang 3,000 pesos, negosyo ready ka na. May libre pang Chooks to Go Styro Box. Sa unti-unting pagbangon ng ating bansa, katuwang ng bawat Pilipino, ang Chooks to Go ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Kaya maging Chooks to Go reseller na.
Kabayan, nahuhomesick ka ba? I-download na ang aming mobile app at mag-enjoy sa mga kantang tatak Pinoy and feel like you're home. The V81 Radio mobile app, available in the App Store and Google Play Store. V81 Radio mobile app, free now, free forever. Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. This is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin.